Hi, I'm Jon Gaudreau. I am the Enterprise BIRT rep for the Northwest. Today I'm going to be taking you through the architectural drawing for how to write out the BIRT iHub to speak to your customers about how we would work in conjunction with their existing web application. All right, first thing is I'm going to represent the infrastructure that they already have in place. So that includes their data. And I'm going to do a few different ways. One is cloud, another is physical, to demonstrate that we can work with all of it. And that's databases, data warehouses. The next is going to be their users. I draw this out, typical interface, which is going to be just normal old PC. And then the next element that they're going to have is their web tier. All right, so that's going to be the infrastructure that they already have. Their natural inclination is to want to take their web application, build that out, whether it's through something else, whether it's through actually building it using their internal resources. Of course, they run into all kinds of challenges we're well aware of, connecting to their data, ensuring scalability, ensuring security. So we're going to offer them a better way, which is the BIRT iHub. And the BIRT's going to handle three different areas here. First is on the design side, then deploy, and ultimately display. So the first thing you want to take them through is the BIRT Designer Pro. And this is going to allow them to do HTML5 visualizations, dashboards, reports, and then, of course, BIRT data objects. The BIRT data objects are going to let them connect to their different data sources, organize it how they want it to, so it's going to be functional. And then they can output XML design files. Now the next challenge is how do you actually deploy this kind of content? And that's where the BIRT iHub comes in. And within the BIRT iHub, you can have multiple volumes. We're only going to be showing one. And then you can represent these XML design files being loaded up into the iHub. And this ultimately makes up their reporting and dashboarding application. Now within the iHub, it's going to be doing a number of things for them, taking the load off of their web application, putting it on the iHub. The first is scale. Next is going to be storage for those BIRT data objects, fast loading of data. Then managing all the content, users, all that, as well as security, ensuring their data gets to the right people. So all this is managed by the BIRT Information Console. So the way the flow would work, their users make a request for some content. It gets handled by the web application, passed through the information console, which then sends it on to the iHub. Now the iHub is going to know what XML designs it needs to deliver. It's going to know to pull in the data that it needs to generate that, run it through the security, all that management, and then ultimately deploy it back to the web application and then out to the users. And that can be as interactive reports, dashboards, scorecards, analytics, and ad hoc content creation. So you can see how much we're actually functioning within this environment. They only provided this over here and that. Everything else is handled by BIRT, same way it is in any other application. Okay, well, there's a few things I try to keep in mind as I'm going through it. The first thing is, because there's not much done over here and there's quite a lot that has to be added over here, try and make sure that I don't use up too much room when I'm drawing out this portion in order to save myself from having to kind of squeeze everything in over on that side. Another challenge is remembering how to spell things while I'm trying to talk about it. So don't be reluctant to write slowly while you're talking to make sure that you actually spell things correctly. And then it's just going through the whole process. It helps me to kind of imagine that flow myself, and then that way I know what's getting added in at each stage. It's really kind of representing the flow of a report. So if I think about that flow, that helps me to be able to make sure I hit the bases as I'm going through.
You mentioned that you were just going through one volume. Can you kind of explain the middle section of deploy in the BIRT iHub and why how you're identifying it as just one volume or one application?
Yeah, and I have the BIRT iHub as one big box here, right? And then I have within that volumes. Now I'm only showing one volume. If I tried to replicate that for multiple volumes, it'd take a long time to draw and it'd take up a lot of real estate. So just wanted to indicate to the audience that yes, I'm only showing one volume. If you have multiple applications you want to run, it can be handled by a single BIRT iHub, but I'm only representing one because that's just what we're talking about in this particular instance.